to physically eat it. You have to sit there and just eat it. Like you cannot move or you get slapped again. And that slap again would suck more. I I feel like there's this guy named Luke Simons. If you ever get the time to look him up, not this past fight, but the fight before that, he got slapped 3 times in one round because he flinched twice.
Ooh, that's not good. Do you know who Ronnie Garvin, the wrestler, is? A fan is asking. He was known as the Hands of Stone.
And no, the only hands of stone I think I know is John Lineker.
There you go. Sorry, ATF media. And I think we got digressed, but who out of WWE, name your top three women that
Oh
you'd want to get in
man,
the ring with?
like now or like a long time ago?
Well,
I
give
haven't
give
been
us give us your
watching.
three from the past of all time of any company, three from any company of all time, and three if TKO says we need you in WWE.
I'm pretty sure her name's Ripley. I don't know how to say her last name,
Rhea
but
Ripley.
you see her all over the internet. She just has this like grunginess to her. I love it. She's a heel for sure. Uh, I don't know if there's a Chelsea girl. I'm pretty sure I saw.
Yeah, Chelsea Green, I
I
think
was
her
like,
name
but
is. I've
she's a
interviewed her.
diva, right? She's a diva. And then those are the two current ones that I know of that I like follow along with ish. Um, Other than that, I don't know.
Ronda Rousey, would you wrestle her?
Hell no.
No.
Ronda is such a beast. She actually like has put so much attention into like combat sports in general that like everybody just loves her because she has accomplished so much in her life and brought so much positive attention to her sports that she has done. And I just love her as an athlete, honestly. I'm such a fan.
How did you meet your husband?
Okay, weird story, but I was actually at the radio station. I was the front desk lady and I was a receptionist. So he would always come in like talking on the radio and I'm like he would just talk to me here and there. And one day he asked me on a date and I was like, "Well, what do you even do?" And he's like, "Well, I'm a fighter." And I the only fighter I knew at the time was Chuck Liddell and he was already retired. So that says how much I knew about fighting at the time. Um but yeah, at the I was yeah, that's Chuck Liddell. My auntie thought it was a wax figure. I was so sad because I was so
It does
excited
look
to
like a
meet
wax
him.
figure now that you mention it.
He was like, "Oh, that's a cool wax figure." I was like, "No, it was really him." I was
How
so
was he?
excited to meet him. I've actually met him twice. I have 2 pictures with him. I love Chuck Liddell. He was my favorite fighter and person. I just nerd out when I see him still to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Pat Miletich about this the other day, but why do you think, like in the Chuck Liddell days, everybody knew every fighter, and it seemed like the fighters just had more personality for some reason? There still are some that do, obviously, but it's not like you know from top to the bottom of the card everybody like you did when it first started to about the beginning of the John Jones era.
I feel like there was less fighters there, where it brought more attention to the current fighters that were on the roster, if that makes sense. There's so many people on the roster that have come and gone into the UFC, um, that their rankings and stuff just go crazy because there's all these young fighters now that are coming in. But when fighting was there, they would just throw hands when it first started. You know what I mean? So they were making it into something, and kind of like Power Slap, like they're only well on their 13th event, so it's only going to get bigger from here.
And what's it like being the wife of a fighter? Because I mean, your husband was a champion. I mean, there's a lot of stress going into fights, a lot of sacrifice. Plus, you got three kids now and your own careers. Like, could you tell us a bit about what it's like to live that life?
It's exciting. That's one thing I can say. um it's fun. We travel a lot. It's kind of stressful at times too because obviously he walks around at like 145, 150 and cuts down to 125. So a 25-pound cut, depending on how long they let him know. They try and roughly let him know within 6 weeks, but sometimes it's 4 or 3 weeks. And he doesn't like to say, he'll never say no. He always says yes. So I feel like weight cutting's a lot, but we've just done it for so long. We're kind of already used to it with each other now, with my bodybuilding show stuff and then with his fighting. So, I mean, we eat really healthy for the most part.
What does your husband think? And I'm sure maybe I could ask him this in another interview sometime separately, but like the difference between MMA and bare knuckle, because a lot of people are dead against bare knuckle, and some people will say it's actually safer than MMA. What's your opinion on it? And what's your opinion on it
If
as a wife, like of someone you care about watching them in there?
so, honest opinion, at first I did not want him to do bare knuckle like whatsoever. I was like, please don't do bare knuckle, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, I'm going to go try it, right? I'm going to go do it. And I was like, okay. But statistic wise, they take way less hits compared to MMA. MMA, you're using your whole body. And then in bare knuckle boxing, it's just boxing. So you have to defend takedowns and hammer fists and all this stuff to the head in MMA versus bare knuckle. If you cut them up, then your fight's over. So stat wise, my husband's only he has 3 finishes in the first round for bare knuckle, and then one of the fights went all the rounds. So stat wise, it makes more sense in bare knuckle, and he's taking way less damage, and he's actually really good at it because he's so fast. Um, versus MMA, he has a lot of like he has to work out 10 times more for MMA, in my opinion, and he takes way more shots to the head in MMA.
Are
So
the
I'm
rounds
a fan.
shorter?
The rounds are way shorter in bare knuckle boxing. They're 2 minutes and they're 5 rounds. So he's in the ring for a total of 10 minutes versus MMA, he's in there for what, 15, if
Yeah.
not more. So the MMA is mandatory 5-minute rounds as a professional. So it makes more sense. He gets more breaks in between for bare knuckle and stuff.
And I see you've met, I think that's Nate Diaz,
Oh
right?
my gosh, I love him. He's like my favorite fighter, and I've met him like I want to say 5 times. I only got one picture with him, but we we actually got to hang out with him in LA for the bare knuckle fights when they threw a huge bare knuckle card out there, and he's just my favorite. He's my favorite fighter. I love him so much. I wish he would do power slap because he does the Stockton slap. So he's just, I don't know. I nerd out with him every time I see him.
And I'm not saying this to be insulting, but he seems like he may have the beginning stages of some concussion issues stemming from his career. Did you notice that? Because I don't know if Power Slap might be the best for him if that's the case.
I mean, I doubt he would ever do power slap, but I would love to see him compete. I love seeing him compete in whatever he decides to do. Like he has a fan base behind him. I love his attitude towards everything. Like he just doesn't give a fuck and go out and do whatever the fuck makes you happy type vibe. And he literally will tell you that to your face if you ask him like, "Hey, do you have any advice?" And he's like, "Do whatever the fuck makes you happy." And it's true.
And I see you were also a fitness competitor. How did that career go for you?
I signed up for power stuff for because I love weightlifting. So um bodybuilding is I love bodybuilding. I think it's fun. Same thing with like cutting weight and stuff. Uh you just go out there, you go on stage and you do your thing, and that's how power slap is, and just go out there and be your best.
Have you heard about everything coming out today related to Chavez Jr. getting arrested, the guy that fought Jake Paul over the weekend? Now he's being
Oh,
deported.
isn't ice on him? I read that
Yeah,
earlier right before I got on your
yeah.
podcast. I was like, that's so
Cartel
sad.
connections. Yeah.
The
Do you
news
think
is
that may have had
crazy.
to do with how poorly he did on the weekend? Because he didn't seem to be that aggressive.
I feel like sometimes the media attracts our attention elsewhere when real world things are going on. So that's just my opinion. I don't feel like sometimes you're not always 100 to go out and perform for in that defense. I wasn't 100 to perform on my last slap fight. I I I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
I know you can't talk about everything, but what's your actual record from what's been shown on TV so far? What is your? I mean, we know Paige Van Zant was a draw. The girl that slapped you in the nose, that was a disqualification. What other fights have you had?
I had one girl, her name's Nicole Designy. I don't know how to say her last name. She used to actually train out here in Albuquerque. She actually trained with my husband for a while. So when they gave me her, I was like, dang. Uh, Not dang in a bad way, but I didn't really know much about her fight wise. I lost that one. Unfortunately, I got a clubbing foul in the second round. I rocked her twice. So that's one of the things where we're trying to learn the scorecards to see. She was a great actor. See, like she was a great reactor.
This is her, right? You guys are putting on a show
Yeah.
here.
Well, she's putting on a show. Okay, she hit me high, so I'm pointing at my eye. And then I rock her there, and then she just does this, but I rocked her, right? She moved back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I eat that one. I'm like, fuck yeah, cool. I rock her
What
again right here, but then they call a club. So
do
I
you,
eat this one, whatever, and then I slapped her, but right before this slap, the official yelled at me. So I measure, I'm about to go, and if you watch the full clip on YouTube, like I measure, I'm about to slap, and then he's like, stop. Like he yells stop, and I'm so confused. And I'm like, okay, he's like, reset. I was like, all right, whatever. Kind of just like left it, but when I reset, I moved myself back. So if you ever have the time, you can listen to the commentary. He's like, just let her go. You should have just let her slap. They're arguing about my clubbing foul in the second round. So I don't take that as a loss. I mean, but my paycheck said it was a loss, so there's that.
never admit a loss?
And that's why I said, but again, like I rocked her twice. No, no offense against my opponent whatsoever. I was grateful for the opportunity. I was grateful to go out there with her. She knows how to put on a show, that's for sure. Um, but I rocked her twice. I'm trying to figure out the rule setting to where that doesn't happen again because that obviously sucked because I lost half a paycheck from it. But
How do you get into your opponent's mind before? Do you try and intimidate or do you act nice to try and have their guard down and then go in there and like switch into a different mode?
I'm genuinely like a nice person. So like I don't like love talking shit, if that makes sense. I just go out there and I'll talk to them. I don't hate them. I mean, the slap community is so different than MMA. Like everybody's hanging out, we're all getting drinks, we're all just vibing with each other. We'll go out and eat together. They made me and Paige hang out in Abu Dhabi. Mind you, I've been around MMA, so they like hate each other. They won't even let them hang out. And then the slap community, they're like, "Oh, everybody come on, we're getting on a bus, we're gonna go hang out." So there's no like animosity, I guess. Some fighters have that, but the women don't have that just yet.
How
But
was Abu Dhabi itself? Were you kind of shocked like, "Oh my God, I don't have to just go to Vegas. I get to go to Abu Dhabi of all places."
well, for my first professional slap fighting professional setting ever, Abu Dhabi was like the vibes, honestly. I was like, oh, I get to slap Paige Van Zant. Oh, I get to go out to Abu Dhabi and they're paying for this. So that was pretty exciting. The culture there's very different and like super respectful. I was grateful for the opportunity. Um, Women like have to cover up, and so they got us like these. I don't remember what they're called, like specifically, but they made us custom ones to like each person. Each person got their own, and they were custom to us. Um, but you can't like show your ankles and stuff or your arms or like I have tattoos everywhere. You're not
Oh,
supposed to
it's
show
because of
tattoos.
the rules for women there.
Yeah. So like they actually gave us like a little head thingy too. I feel so disrespectful because I don't know the exact words for what it was called. I've totally spaced. But I have the thing that they actually made me like they were so welcoming and they gave us chocolate like that says power slap. Um when we showed up to our hotel, We got to ride camels out in the desert. Like that was super fun. We went sand duning. It was just a crazy experience for my first time doing power slap and then like traveling overseas for a fight for myself. I mean, we go to Japan for my husband, but just doing something like that was a cool experience.
What was the coolest story you could share with us from Abu Dhabi, and how long were you there total?
I want to say I was out there for 6 days. The coolest story was riding the camels. I mean, you can't really, a lot of people can't say they rode a camel out in the desert, like literally. We tasted camel. That was a weird acquired taste. Yeah, they were just out in the wild. The camels are so
It's
cool.
healthy, isn't it? I remember they do sell it in stores here, frozen at a lot of places, and I think it's low fat, right?
Yeah, it's low fat, high protein.
But I mean,
But
after just riding them, you kind of probably feel bad.
yeah, and then they actually sell like camel milk, like chocolates and stuff. Like it's an acquired taste. You have to like love it. One of the crazy stories out there, though, mind you, we're in another country and I'm a woman and I was trying to cover up. That's why I'm in that t-shirt and jeans. But you like you buy this online thing, like kind of like a Groupon for the camel riding and stuff. And so we buy that and then they're like, "Okay, we'll pick you up." They're like messaging us on the little app that we had to download to book this. And so it's me and my husband and two random people, like two women. And this guy comes and picks us up in like, I want to say a forerunner. It's not a forerunner, something like that. Long story short, like to ride the sand dunes. And he starts driving, and I start freaking out because he's like, "Well, I got to stop at the gas station." And I'm like, "Okay, well, why are we stopping at a gas station if we're supposed to be riding the sand dunes?" And mind you, I'm on guard because I live in Albuquerque. So I'm always like, oh my gosh, should we leave? Should we order an Uber back to the hotel? Like, I didn't know if he was trying to kidnap us or what. Long story short, it was fun, but it was so scary.
Sounds like quite an adventure.
It was it was a blast.
Do you think Power Slap is going to start traveling a little bit more, or was that just like a special situation and they're probably going to just stay in Vegas at the Apex there?
They're actually going to New Orleans in 15 days to be exact. So that's their first time in New Orleans, which is exciting. They're
Oh,
getting
you're on that
sanctioned.
card?
No, my
Okay.
nose is broken. I'm suspended for a while. But they're trying to get sanctioned in other states so that they can go ahead and travel more and like have other people because there's a ton of fans of Power Slap. So going overseas, I'm not too sure how they're gonna go about that. I don't really know the back end of that stuff, but
There's
that was
there's Chuck with your son.
yes. And so it's like we've met him a ton of times. I love Chuck Liddell.
He's a pretty wild guy. I've seen some of his, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but from an entertainment standpoint, some of the interviews he's done early in the morning where he's clearly been partying all night are hilarious.
Yeah, he's just the wild individual. Like he just doesn't care. And so if you're like, "Hey, can I have a picture?" Like sometimes he'll tell you no. He's just like, "No," and you're like, "Oh, okay, well, thanks anyway."
Is your husband one of the more like wild personality MMA fighters, or I assume because he's got kids, he's probably more down to earth than some of them?
Um, Since I've met him, he's literally like what you see online is what you get in person. He's very outgoing. He's very approachable. You can ask him anything, and he'll just tell you straightforward. He's a very humble person, and everyone in the slap community loves him. Vice versa, like everyone in the MMA community loves him. Uh, And I've never really heard anybody say anything bad about him, if I'm being honest. Just because he's so nice. Like we're yin and yang. Like people can approach him and ask him whatever, and sometimes I'm like, okay, well, let's go. Like I'm not a people person as much as he is.
Someone's asking if you exaggerate the drama when you're up there on stage to try and be more entertaining.
Um, yes and no. I'm trying to learn to put on a better show with that. Because you have to over exaggerate it a little bit, right? Uh, Taking a slap isn't for the weak. I'll give you that. So it's a shock to the body. You're literally putting yourself through pain. So if you're hyped about it, your reaction's going to be hyped. And if you're dreading it, it shows all over your face. So it's something that you either love or you hate. And you got to go out there and be like that one girl that I versed when she was like doing this and she was being a very show person. Like she knows how to put on a show. I'm learning that, right? So this is my third slap fight. Like, okay, cool. I broke my nose, but I didn't know how to react with that.
What's the hardest legal slap you ever took, and what made it feel so different than like your average slap? Because I've had a few slaps where I felt it right down the spine.
Okay, hear me out. I didn't even know Paige like slaps with a whip. Like she literally like she's left hand, well, she does both hands, but she slaps like this and like holy cow, that crap hurt so bad. Like my face was swollen. I have a little video on my Instagram that shows uh how bad my face was from her. But it was like out here. I had to eat like noodles. Yeah,
There you
there's
are with
Rhonda.
Rhonda, by the way, for anyone that hasn't seen that. So you had to eat noodles when you're like, yeah.
Like
What's the
when
side effect when you take a slap like that? How long does it take to recover?
a few days for obviously your swelling to go down, but you know, you're kind of like shoving food through the side of your mouth. Just my face isn't used to it because I don't do MMA or anything. Like some fighters are used to it and they don't even have to do anything. But me, I'm not used to like taking hits like that. So my face gets swollen right away. And so I have to eat like softer foods. So late like after my slap fights, I've been eating freaking like ramen. Like I'll go out and eat ramen or like something soft like oatmeal.
What is your diet like? I mean, obviously you make cookies. Someone's saying, "Well, how does your husband react when you're making cookies when you're cutting weight?" That's got to be hard. But like, what is your average diet other than the cookies?
Um, the hella protein, a lot of steak with because I have a personal trainer. So he writes my diet really well. So steak, chicken, tilapia, rice, sweet potato, potato, a lot of greens, a lot of spinach. I'm a broccoli person. I love broccoli. But I love spinach also. Just I used to watch Popeye, so just greens, my carbs and my proteins pretty much.
And does it change at all when competing? Someone wants to know.
It changes a lot when I'm competing. Oh, they're asking what my diet was like. Not cut like I thought they meant like cutting weight. You
Well,
meant not
tell
cutting
us
weight.
both. Yeah, tell us both because I'm interested in
Okay.
your cutting weight too.
My cutting weight is what I just said. So it's the chicken, steak, tilapia, all that stuff. But when I'm not cutting weight, dude, I love sweets. Like love sweets. So I eat like cookies. You bread is my downfall. I eat so much bread. Like you go to Texas Roadhouse, I'll eat like all that bread by myself. Any type of dessert. I love frozen yogurt. That's my shit. I hate pizza. It's not my go-to. I'm trying to think what else. I love burgers. Burgers are the bomb. But I can't eat it right now. I'm kind of sad because my mouth can't open that well.
What's your specialty for cooking? Like, and what's like for instance, what's your favorite thing to cook? What do your kids like best that you cook, and what does your husband like best?
Um, Fried rice. My kids love my fried rice. I don't know why. My husband's Filipino, so he cooks a ton. They love when I grill. Other than that, my husband like cooks a lot just because he eats a certain way, so we just eat what he mainly eats. Uh, Spaghetti, obviously, kids love spaghetti, but he cooks more than I do, if I'm being honest. I love baking.
Very interesting. Is this a close up of that same fight, right?
Yeah.
Was this like, did they not have a crowd here for a reason? I guess because this is mostly seen on TV, so it doesn't matter.
It's kind of like my last power slap that I just did where it's called a pre-recording. So they have like a whole fight card that's a pre-recording that they get a release whenever they want to. Like, so they have content. So a pre-recording, you can't give out the results, you can't post like pictures, you can't really do anything until they release the information themselves. So even though we competed, if they post the video, we can post their video that they posted. Anything else, we can't really say much about it. Just my nose broke, and that's that. It was a clubbing fell.
Someone has a question. This is a good question because I've used to do this myself when I was fighting a little bit. Did you chew a lot of gum? Do you chew a lot of gum to strengthen your jaw muscles? Because supposedly that helps prevent you from getting knocked out.
Honestly, like when people are addicted to something, I literally have gum on deck like all the time. So I chew a ton of gum. I feel like that helps. I use those jaw strengthening thingies, and there's this thing that you wrap around your head with a wire, and you like have to put a plate on it or whatever, and you strengthen your neck that way. But your jaw wise, I chew hella gum. So yes, the answer is yes.
Now I don't. I think this is a fighter you're slapping here, but do you get like fans and stuff saying, or people that you know when they find out you're a slap fighter, hey, can you slap me? I want to feel what it's like.
All the time. When I say all the time, like one of the videos went viral with me and Isaiah. It's like a 14 million or something like that. Uh, but I think guys are so curious about like what it feels like to get slapped by a female that they'll just let you slap them. I get asked all the time. And then I also get asked if I love getting slapped. So my DMs after slap fight are
Somebody
so
just asked
crazy.
that, but I didn't want to bring it up. That's a little weird that people ask
No,
that.
but like people ask, I mean, do I like getting slapped? The answer is yes to an extent, right? Like I like the concept of power slap because I know I can take a hit. Do I do that behind closed doors? No. Like that would be dumb because I'm just getting brain damage for no reason. But as a professional athlete, I feel like I'm very good at what I'm doing.
What was the hardest blow you ever took? Was that when your nose exploded, or was that just the most graphic?
I would have to say it was my nose. Only because your nose is so sensitive, and I've never had that happen. So like also it's a shock to the body, a shock to the brain. Like I was freaking out because I was bleeding everywhere. Like there was so much emotion going into it. I also cut like 8.8 pounds the day before that. So they called me on Wednesday uh to weigh in on Thursday. So they called me Wednesday and I had to weigh in within 24 hours, but they flew me out at like 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. So that weight cutting was kind of a lot within 24 hours. Your body goes through a lot like cutting weight and stuff. She actually jumped up in weight to fight me at 125. So kudos to her. Like she moved up in weight. I cut weight. We met at 125 because she's a 115er. Uh, and then when she hit me, I was just like, it was just a lot. I feel like there was a lot of emotion going into it just because it was so hectic for the whole, what, less than 48 hours of what we accomplished.
And here's another guy getting slapped by you. This guy's a fighter too, isn't he?
He was just like, hey, full send this. And I was like, what do you mean full send that? And he's like, full send a slap on me. And I was like, okay, but I rocked him.
And as far as resistance bands, someone had a question. Do you use a lot of resistance bands in your training and or slapping mitts?
Like for hitting, okay, so a good training thing that my husband has me do is he gets a resistant band. I'm just gonna stand up really quick. Like he gets a resistant band and makes me come here like I'm slapping, right? So we do these and then an upward motion and then a downward motion. But it's more or less for like you to be flexible and bring your slap through, if that makes sense. So I use resistance bands for that, and then he has like a thicker resistance band that he makes me stick on my forehead to strengthen my neck. So I'll do like yes and no's, and then I'll go to the side. So I hope that helps answer that question.
Yes. So do you see yourself doing this long term? Because this, I can't see this being a career where for doing it for like 10 years is going to be good for your health, but short term, I could see how it could be fun. But like, how long do you see yourself being involved in this?
Okay, realistically, I have never really taken shots to the head like all these MMA fighting women that have been doing MMA for their whole career. So that's a plus side to me doing power slap because like some of them got knocked out, some get concussions, some like there's a long-term thing with them doing MMA. Long-term career-wise, I just kind of want to I'm going with the flow and seeing where it takes me and I've been very successful in my first 3 matches where I I haven't taken like a ton of damage per se, but like obviously there's little things here and there. But I it's where I'm going with the flow. I can't give a yes or a no answer with that because I don't really know where the road will take me with that. I also have a lot of other things that I do, so kind of just depends on all of that stuff.
Would you consider bare knuckle boxing if you get like enough of a name and obviously your husband's in it and it's kind of getting popular
Uh,
now?
oh, bare knuckle is like super popular. A blow to the nose, man. I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, it's a different breed going out there and watching the bare knuckle. Like when I say you hear every crack, like you legit hear every crack. Like you hear that the whole time. So fighting with like that is so intense. And I love watching it. I don't know if I would love being a part of it because I know a lot of the fighters and they're built different.
What's your favorite type of fight to watch? Is it slap fighting, boxing, bare knuckled, MMA?
Okay, so obviously slap. I've been a huge fan of power slap like since it came out, since I watched Slap Fighting Championship. Love power slap. It's crazy. And then it's bare knuckle. I would kind of like power slap, bare knuckle, and then like MMA and boxing and stuff down here. I love watching like Rose. I love watching her compete. She's a beast. Um Tracy Cortez, she just has this like wild energy. She's so cool. Uh but boxing wise, I'm just a Ryan Garcia fan through and through. I love him. I met him in person and I literally nerded out. But huge Ryan Garcia fan. Other than that, I don't really care. Not care, but I don't really understand a lot of like bare knuckle boxing and regular boxing is two different things. So like their rule sets are kind of different.
Did you happen to see Kenzie Morrison, Tommy Morrison's son, bare knuckle debut a couple weeks ago?
Was it in Utah? Was it
It
that
was in
card?
Texas. It was in
Oh, the
Dallas.
Texas card.
Yeah. Andre
Oh no.
Arlovsky made his debut too in
I
that.
love that Andre even went in there and he did so good. Like John and Andre have a really good relationship. They used to do like crazy videos together, like where Andre like kicked a pad and John goes flying and they're funny together. But we were so excited when Andre went into bare knuckle. He's so nice, but he like has this grungy, mean like demeanor to him.
Doesn't he have the record for most UFC fights now too?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. Someone wants to know for Ryan Garcia, do you think he's going to get his life back on track and get out of the TMZ tabloids?
You know what? I think he's like the smartest individual because he loves to go crazy and then go put on a show. So, I mean, it attracts so many fans because everyone's like, oh, he's crazy, he's delusional, he's this, he's this. So it keeps us interested in like what he's gonna bring to the table when he fights. So I feel like he does it semi for show, but also like it brings more fans into like watching him do boxing.
As far as the music you come out to, do you always use the same music? I mean, I'm not familiar with it. Could you tell it? But someone was asking about your walkout song.
Um, So we were in Abu Dhabi and they're super respectful. And my walkout song was Delhi by Ice Spice, which is total ratchet song. So there was that. My second walkout song was Money by Cardi B. And then my third walkout song was Think You the Shit. And then it's by Ice Spice. So there, I walk out to ratchet stuff, but it's pretty much because it hypes me up.
Is there anything that fans might be surprised to learn about you? I mean, obviously, most people would be surprised you have a family and bake cookies if they've just seen you doing the power slap, but is there anything else that we might be shocked at?
I think I get kind of just shock everybody in general when they actually ask me what I do because I go on, I'm like, okay, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I sign up for Power Slap and I run a sugar cookie business. So that's kind of shocking in general because usually like fight wives are just fight wives, they don't go out and try and do fighting. So my life's pretty much a surprise to myself in general.
Is there any UFC fighter's wife that you get along well with outside the ring that people might know of?
No, I didn't really like when he was in the UFC, I was very like to myself and I didn't talk as much as I do now. So I was very shy when we first met. I was 21. I was young and just quiet.
Now that there's this new boxing league being opened up with Dana White and WWE's involved with it, Nick Khan, the president of WWE, and Abu Dhabi's funding it with massive money, would your husband consider boxing in it if he got the right offer?
If they ever asked him to box in any other organization, like I'm sure he would love to. He loves boxing and he's very good at it. I don't know if you ever have the time to watch him. The bare knuckle ones aren't super long, but somebody on the internet like clipped all of his bare knuckle ones. He's super good at boxing. His background is wrestling, which you would ever never know because he doesn't use it, but his boxing's like top tier. I think he would be super great at it.
What would you suggest fans to look up on you for your fights if they want, if there's one in particular from start to finish, including the walkout, if they only had time to watch one, what would you tell them to search up?
They don't have my walkout for my second fight, but that one was fun. If they want to get to know me a little bit more, I feel like I was more comfortable in my second fight and I was more myself and learning the ropes a little bit more about Power Slap and who I am as a person on stage. Uh, and getting more comfortable with that. I feel like if they had my walkout and all that stuff, that would be it. I want a full fight camp and I want to be able to go. So my
A fight
this
camp for
one,
Power Slap? Are you kidding me? I know it's the future, but like I wonder what that would consist of.
I had a fight camp for my first one. They give you fight camps because you do have to cut weight and you do have to train a certain way and it's not just like, hey, we're going in there and we're slapping. You have to make sure that you're following all the rules on your end. Uh and people don't understand it and that's totally fine. But there is fight camps and people have to train for it because you have to do like certain exercises like your neck exercises, your jaw exercises that you're not